This is verse 9 of the second chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. Herod has given instruction to the wise men to go and seek diligently to find the child who's allegedly born king of the Jews and to bring him word again. And of course, the wise men now may be suspecting that something was up in terms of the motives of Herod, but nevertheless proceed from there, having been advised that the city in which the Messiah would be born was Bethlehem, not too far from Jerusalem. So we have hoi. This is ordinarily an article. It idiomatically can function in Greek as a noun, or a pronoun really, and that's it. So they would be the way we render it, although it's literally the word the, postpositive de. So they, akousantes, aorist participle, aorist active participle. It's the masculine, plural nominative referring to the wise men. Denotes action preceding the time of the leading verb, which will come a little later. So they, having heard, to basileos, having heard the king, referring to Herod. The word akouo can take the genitive, which is why we have the genitive here. Ordinarily would be the accusative, and sometimes akouo takes the accusative, but here the genitive. So having heard the king, eporeuthesan, from peruomai, deponent verb, means I go. This is the third person plural, aorist active indicative, so they went. So they, having heard the king, went. Kai, the connective, idu, an interjection, behold or look, and then ho aster. The word for star, we actually get our word star from this, of course, aster, so the star. And then dependent clause here, hon. This is a relative pronoun, the star which. It's in the accusative because it stands as the object of adon, so which they saw. Adon from ado, which means to see, or blepo, it's sometimes regarded as, but either way, it's the third person plural, aorist active indicative, so the star which they saw. Prepositional phrase, in with the dative, te, the dative article, Anatole, in the east. Of course, Anatole, from which the term Anatolia is derived, but it actually means the east. And so, which they saw in the east. Proagen, this is from proago. The word ago means to lead, proago means to lead before. A little bit more of an emphatic word, so it is the sense that actually led them, almost in the sense of taking them by the hand. We have the impression that the star had led them to Jerusalem, and then for some reason it disappeared from sight, which is why they had made the inquiries in Jerusalem. But now, as they proceed to Bethlehem, the star seems to appear once again, and seems to be leading them even more emphatically than before. Proagen, autus. Autus is the direct object of the verb here. It's the masculine plural accusative. So it led them. Heos is a conjunction. It means until the moment, and then eilthon from erchomai means I come or I go. This is the aorist active participle, again referring to time preceding now, again the time of the leading verb. So until, having come would be the idea. Estothe. This is from histemi. It means to stand. This is, interestingly, the passives, usually not translated that way, but it's interesting to note it. It's the third person singular aorist passive indicative. So it'd be better to render it until it was made to stand, as if there's some external force acting upon it, which is certainly to be taken as the case. So having come, it was made to stand. And then epano. Epano is a preposition, takes the genitive. It's a combination of epi, which means over, and ano, above. So over and above, we'd render it simply over. So until, having come, it was made to stand over, directly over, above, in a more emphatic sense here. Probably almost a supernatural idea of pointing down directly to the house where they would find the young child. It takes the genitive, so we have what amounts to a indeclinable adverb here in the genitive form. over the place, ein, from eimi, I am. This is the third person singular imperfect active indicative. Where was, and then the subject of that verb, to baidion, where the child was. Of course, we're some time hence from them being in a manger or in a stable. Bethlehem nativity scenes will often show the wise men and the shepherds all together, but I think it's commonly known that the wise men showed up sometime later, and they had by this time moved into some kind of house or rented apartment or something like that, and so that's where now the wise men appear, and that's where they find the place where the young child is presently residing.